Hello ratbags, it's Jade with another grounded update video. Every month from now on I'm going to do it like this. The test servers will launch, I'll give you 10 things you need to know that's upcoming, and then when the updates fully go live for everyone, I'll do a complete video showcasing any brand new changes, any new other items added during that period. Currently right now there's been problems with the Xbox versions of the test server, so you won't be able to play this one, it's only for PC. But anyway, here's 10 things you need to know. Building changes. There are so many improvements, guys, how to manage your base. One of them is that you can aim at things like boxes and you can go ahead and move them. No longer will you have to destroy everything just to replace or remodel your base. There you go, job done. And obviously it works even with all your items inside. Just press the Y button on your thing that you want to move, rotate it, do what you want, put it down, and there you go, all your items are safely stored in. No having a pinata happen whenever you're trying to move stuff around. That's a huge improvement and it's fantastic. The best thing of all, if you really want to, you can go absolutely miles and relocate and replace stuff. Now this may change, but at the moment you can pretty much go wherever you want. Just look how far we've come. I can't even see my base. But do be warned, you can't run while you're doing this. And if you accidentally press the B button, then you're going to have to go all the way back and start again. Another huge improvement is being able to use the workbench even if you don't actually have any items on you. What do I mean? Well, you can see I've got no fibre in my inventory right now, but I do happen to have some fibre inside this little chest. Then you can go ahead and craft the items that you want. Crafting benches now take into account any resources you've got in your chest nearby. And just to give you an idea of the range, you can see I've got a chest there, but it doesn't allow me to actually craft it. So it looks like you have to be within range that you could potentially open one of your boxes or storages and then go ahead and use whatever workbench it is. You can see I can now craft as I've got 3 plant fibre inside this box right here. But that's still huge. Now you can build a proper crafting workshop, have loads of storage just nicely put away. You don't ever have to worry again about going all over the place looking for things. Now if you want to keep track of how many boxes you actually have in range, then when you look in your workbench on the right hand side, you can see it says nearby storage 1 in range. There is a whole host of brand new building pieces. We now have weed, triangle floors and big ones. This is fantastic. I've so much wanted to have something new as a flooring instead of just the grass planks, and obviously now we've got these two. There are also brand new grass half floors. So if you want to build yourself a little ship and have a gangplank, you can go ahead and do so now. I think that's pretty cool. They've also added some diagonal railings. You've got this one here, and then you've got obviously the acorns. They're pretty cool as well. You can actually use them kind of like stairs if you're a bit of a ninja, which clearly I'm not. And they've got brackets for scaffolding, so you can kind of make yourself little arches. Now they're pretty good. For builders in grounded, it's going to be amazing. You're going to have so many new textures and new ways to play and build. But take a look at my little friend. I've got a massive acorn spiral staircase. Now it's a little bit fiddly getting the actual blueprint, but you can build yourself huge, massive staircases. You just got to be a little bit away at the moment. But you get the idea. Now ain't that pretty cool? So you can now build huge towers and maybe don't have to worry so much about building huge square block staircases. And then the final new build proper piece they've added is zipline anchors that you can place on walls. This is going to be so much better for people with large bases that want to get around pretty quickly from up high. You can now place these almost anywhere and they're so much better than the big bulky ones. And there we go, just zip on it like you always normally do. As usual, you can change and do what you want with them too. That's a pretty nifty new feature. Now I showed off these anchor points when they was in development months ago, so it's good to see that they're finally hitting. New decoratives, we've got some new mounts and these amazing glowing hanging lanterns. I really like the way that now you can light up certain things in lots of different ways. This is going to cost you some silk, some sap, some grub hide and 2 bioluminescent goop. The bee, the firefly and the mosquito are all now added to show off your conquests. Finally, a way to get resources across the map quicker. You can now send certain items like weed stems and grass planks across zip lines. This is such a cool feature, it's going to really help with people with big bases. Just go up to your zip line with something like your weed stem in your hand, and then press the LT unload button. And there you go, it goes zipping down. It's so cool. Now it does only work for some items, not every item. And here it is in a little bit more slow motion. You get the idea. You can now transport all your planks, all of your weed stems via your zip lines. That's a huge feature, and I feel like that deserved a separate placing on its own. So food and water have both been completely reworked. Your bonuses, i.e. when you get your stamina regeneration quicker or your health regeneration quicker, usually happen when you've got your food and water above 90%. But I've lowered that now to make it a bit easier, so it's only going to be 80% that you need to get your food and water up to. Once you get your food up to 80%, you'll start regaining health, and once you get your water up to 80%, you'll start getting a lot more stamina quicker. But I've also made it harder as well. And before, you'd have to get to 0 before you had some of the penalties that started reducing how much stamina you had. Well, now it's 20%. You can see my stamina has been affected by the fact that I haven't got any food. Less max stamina is the lasting effect. So it's good in one way, but bad in the other. You won't be able to get your stamina above 50% until you start getting your food back up higher. And if you're thirsty and you go below 20%, then your actual stamina regen is actually going to be a lot worse. So some small changes there, but it may affect how you're playing the game, so do take note. You can see now I've got to regenerate my health because my food is way above the 80%. So they've made changes to repairing your armor and your weapons. They've removed the armor glue, or it just won't work. And instead now, whenever you've got armor that needs repairing, you're actually going to have to repair it with some of the stuff that you crafted that armor with. I think this is a good move. It means that you're going to have to repeatedly maybe go back and kill the same creatures to keep your armor up and running. For the ant armor helmet here, it's 2 parts ant and 1 mite fuzz. It's also the same for weapons too. To repair weapons, you'll also need some of the ingredients that you crafted it with, but you're also going to need 1 quartzite. Gas masks are also going to take durability damage while in the gas area too. So big changes, hopefully encourages you guys to go back to the areas and fight the same sort of creatures to get better repairs for your armors. As before, I'm pretty sure once you've got an armor, you never really have to worry about going and getting another set or going back to that area to get more of them resources. Sure, you may need resources for other stuff, but the armor glue only needed some minimal stuff like mite fuzz, sap and crude rope. It makes much more sense that if you're repairing your bee armor, you may need to go and kill some more bees. They've also made massive changes to the UI and interface. You can now clearly see your weapons and armor stats. You can see the pebble axe on the right hand side, the damage is now 1.5, stun is 2 and speed is 4. Also now, if you've got loads of updates that are pretty old, some of them are going to have big massive warnings saying ancient and they may not actually work. This will help with people that somehow think they can maybe go back to an update from like 6 months ago and maybe expect it to work when the game's had 6 updates. That's why if you're not even playing Grounded at the moment, you should always update whenever there's a brand new update, just in case you do come back to it and you kind of still want to have your progress saved. But it's nice they've actually given us a proper warning now. And the other big thing is that in your status bar, it actually shows every kind of effect on you. Not just the ones that you get just from activating mutations, which pop up in purple above, but all the other ones that you get from your armor, any weapons, and your food and your water. Another great little touch. There's a brand new bomb. It's the Shinobi Squeeze. This is going to give you a puff of smoke that you can get away from enemies or just go around them. Costs 3 pollen and 1 grub hide. Now this has been in the game files a while, as it looked like there was some sort of bonus attributed to one of the items or weapons. Now you can't actually throw it, it just simply goes up and around you. Simply highlight it, press the A button, and there you go. It's pretty short at the moment. You can see the effects of it don't last. There's nothing popping up there. Well, let's do it one more time. And you can see now the invisibility and the attack damage has popped up. So definitely really good if a wolf spider has happened to come across you. But I really do think they maybe need to increase how long it actually lasts. It looks like it's barely 5 seconds. It does look like it also reduces your attack damage. So you won't be able to use this to cheese creatures either. If you try and hit a creature while it's in effect, you're not going to do as much damage. There's some big changes to creatures. Larvae will now go and explore a little bit more. They won't just be only in the certain areas, so you might have them come and attack your base if you've built near them a little bit closer. And they've made that a lot of the creatures will now replenish their health a little bit slower. They seem to have miraculous powers of recovery. Whenever you stop hitting a creature for all of 2 seconds, suddenly it gets all its health back. So now it's going to just take a little bit longer, so hopefully you'll be able to go and gank it a little bit sooner. I didn't get a chance to show it here, but the larvae also will burrow into the ground now, so it looks like when you attack them, they may do that, so it'll be a bit harder to take on. And the gnats aren't going to be bopping you as much as they did previously. It was kind of getting a little bit annoying. They made changes to combat too. The mosquito needle doesn't do as much health damage now, so whenever you're attacking a creature, I'm showing it off in creative just at the moment, you're not going to get as much life back from it. Bandages are going to give you more HP, but it's going to take longer. They've also increased the durability of the Weevil shield. It's doubled in fact. And they've increased the damage of the Splat Burst and the Brathurst bombs. So definitely maybe a bit more viable to take on some creatures. And the pollen shot buff that you get from the bee armor, that is now going to do more stun. And lastly, you may have been wondering why I've been hovering around this area at the back of the sandbox. The last update here, I showed you guys all of the black ant stuff that was coming. None of it actually works at the moment, it's all just normal ant parts, but I spawned a bunch of this stuff in and it did look like it was going to be pretty OP. As you can see, it's got massive defense. There's also going to be a new black ant shield, sword and shovel coming as well. And it looks like at one of their test dev worlds, they did have some little portals showing basically where these are going to be. Take a look at the map. This is going to be one location where you will find black ants, unless things change of course. And I do believe the other one wasn't too far away. It was actually inside the sandbox. Devs have put in the patch notes that they've removed the sneaky stuff that was actually discovered. You can see they've put 2 big rocks on where the holes were. It's exactly the same here too. I do believe there was some kind of little really rough copy house next to it. Looked like a small toy. So yeah, chances are that will be coming, but not this update. Maybe at the end of March. So there we go guys, that is everything you need to know about Grounded at the moment. I'll be back for the full update with all the stuff that you need to know, any corrections, any changes or any other features they've added, but I'm not predicting anything too much. This update isn't a big huge content drop, but it definitely is a great quality of life update, and it's good to see that Grounded are making some good changes for builders. Definitely though, I really want to start seeing some base defense stuff and horde defense, basically making the game a little bit more interesting to play so that animals and creatures come and attack you a little bit more regularity. I think that will really make people want to play this game a little bit longer. I love the game, but I just run out of stuff to do. Anyhow, I'll see you at Bags for another one very soon.